हाँ हाँ.
The next ship coming up on your right is Indian naval ship Kiltan with pennant number Papa 30, commanded by Commander Alok Gaurav.
यह कमोरता श्रेणी के पनडुब्बी रोधी कॉर्वेट का तीसरा जहाज है जो उन्नत सोनार, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक युद्ध प्रणालियों, टॉर्पीडो, एचडब्ल्यू रॉकेट, तोपों और क्लोज इन वेपन सिस्टम से लैस है.
Coming up on your left is Indian naval ship Ikshak, commanded by Captain Tribhuvan Singh.
इक्षक नाम का अर्थ है मार्गदर्शक और इसे समुद्री रास्तों को सुरक्षित बनाने और संसाधनों की खोज के लिए तटीय और गहरे पानी में हाइड्रोग्राफिक सर्वे करने के लिए डिजाइन किया गया है.
We are now approaching Indian naval ship Kamorta, pennant number Papa 28 on your right hand side, commanded by Commander Swapnil Srivastav.
मेक इन इंडिया का एक शानदार उदाहरण यह जहाज 90% आत्मनिर्भर है. इसका आदर्श वाक्य है शत्रुनाम संघातकः, अर्थात शत्रु का संहार करने वाला.
The last ship on this leg coming up on your right is yet another unique ship in Indian Navy's inventory. Indian naval ship Nistar, commanded by Commander Amit Subro Banerjee. She's an indigenously built diving support vessel. Her operational prowess has enhanced the submarine rescue capabilities not only for the Indian Navy but for the larger Indo-Pacific.
यह युद्धपोत कुशल सैचुरेशन डाइवर्स और विशेषज्ञों द्वारा संचालित गहरे समुद्र में रिकवरी, पानी के भीतर रखरखाव और मानवीय क्षमताओं को बढ़ाता है.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the second leg of the review covering the third and fourth columns of anchored ships. Before the President of India reviews the fifth and sixth columns, we shall now witness an aerial display of activities.
देवियों और सज्जनों, हम समीक्षा के दूसरे चरण के अंत तक पहुंचते हैं, जिसमें एंकर डाले जहाजों के तीसरे और चौथे कॉलम का निरीक्षण शामिल है. भारत के राष्ट्रपति द्वारा पांचवें और छठे कॉलम की समीक्षा से पहले अब हम हवाई गतिविधियों का प्रदर्शन देखेंगे.
Two indigenous advanced light helicopters will now perform search and rescue. You will shortly see free divers descending into the water to rescue personnel in distress. This operation requires considerable practice and skill. Maintaining the proper altitude above water is essential. Otherwise, rotor wash generated by the rotors can be dangerous to the diver and the helicopter.
समुद्र में सर्च एंड रेस्क्यू एक अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण क्षमता है, क्योंकि समुद्र में ऑपरेट करते समय सबसे बड़ी चुनौती अक्सर समुद्र स्वयं ही होता है। अभी हमारे सामने समुद्र शांत है क्योंकि मॉनसून हाल ही में पीछे हटा है, पर सामान्यतः सी रफ रहते हैं और शिप को रोलिंग और पिचिंग का सामना करना पड़ता है। इसलिए कठिन सी स्टेट्स में अनुभव की आवश्यकता होती है। ऐसी स्थिति में यह सर्च एंड रेस्क्यू हेलीकॉप्टर आवश्यक होते हैं। किसी भी दुर्घटना या समुद्र में गिरे हुए व्यक्ति की तुरंत सहायता के लिए तत्पर रहते हैं। और ये बुनियादी क्षमता केवल हमारी युद्धपोतों के लिए ही नहीं, बल्कि मर्चेंट शिप्स और छोटी बोट्स, मछुआरों इत्यादि के लिए भी काम आती हैं।
We shall now witness a simulation of rescue operations by Dhruv helicopters. Here, the helicopters fly at low altitudes at a speed of 10 knots and dispatches free divers to rescue survivors in water. This method is typically employed when more than one survivor is in water, such as in case of a boat capsize. The idea is to support as many non-swimmers as possible and get them to safety.
देवियों और सज्जनों, हेलीकॉप्टर्स कम ऊंचाई पर 10 नॉट्स की गति से उड़ेंगे और पानी में जीवित बचे लोगों को बचाने के लिए गोताखोरों को उतारेंगे। यह तरीका आमतौर पर तब अपनाया जाता है जब एक से अधिक लोग पानी में जीवित बचे हों, जैसे कि नाव पलटने की स्थिति में। इसका उद्देश्य अधिक से अधिक उन लोगों को सहायता प्रदान करना है जिन्हें तैरना नहीं आता, और उन्हें सुरक्षित स्थान पर पहुंचाया जाता है।
Ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed the divers being winched up to the helicopter, depicting the successful rescue of the survivors from the sea. In a short while, ladies and gentlemen, the President of India will review the 5th and 6th columns of anchored vessels. This would be our third leg, and we shall now witness some of the larger vessels that are participating in this historic review today.
देवियों और सज्जनों, कुछ ही क्षणों में भारत के राष्ट्रपति 5वें और 6ठे कॉलम की समीक्षा करेंगे। यह हमारी तीसरी कड़ी होगी और आज हम इस ऐतिहासिक समीक्षा में भाग लेने वाले कुछ बड़े युद्धपोतों को देखेंगे।
This column also comprises the gallant warships of the carrier battle group that dominated the northern Arabian Sea during Op Sindoor.
देवियों और सज्जनों, अब आ रहे हैं ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में अपना पराक्रम और शौर्य का लोहा मनवाने वाले कैरियर बैटल ग्रुप के जहाज। आखिर कैरियर बैटल ग्रुप क्या है? कैरियर बैटल ग्रुप एक व्यापक सामुद्रिक क्षमता है जो युद्धपोत, फिक्स्ड विंग और हेलीकॉप्टर के साथ साथ तट से आए हुए सर्विलियंस एयरक्राफ्ट और नेटवर्क डेटा से संगठित होता है। एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर इस क्षमता का केंद्र है। इस बैटल ग्रुप के अन्य शक्ति स्रोत हैं आपके सामने तैनात बलशाली डिस्ट्रॉयर्स और फ्रिगेट्स, उन पर एम्बार्क्ड हेलीकॉप्टर्स और खुद कैरियर के ऊपर के लड़ाकू विमान। कैरियर बैटल ग्रुप एक ऑफेंसिव एंटिटी के रूप में न सिर्फ इंडिया की फॉर्मिडेबल फायर पावर का सिंबल है, बल्कि एक शील्ड ऑफ एश्योरेंस भी है जो हमारे हितों की रक्षा और सुरक्षा हर डायमेंशन के नेवल वॉरफेयर में करने में सक्षम है।
Ladies and gentlemen, look right ahead. On either side of the column, you can witness the mighty destroyers and frigates that comprise the carrier battle group.
Pennant number Foxtrot 48 on left-hand side is Indian naval ship Satpura, commanded by Captain Rajiv K. Tiwari. She carries a mix of anti-ship, land attack, anti-air and anti-submarine weapons, enabling her to perform a wide range of missions. She's also capable of carrying multi-role helicopters.
इस कॉलम के सबसे अग्रिम युद्धपोत सतपुड़ा का युद्ध घोष है। सबसे आगे कौन खड़ा? सतपुड़ा, सतपुड़ा। यह जहाज भारतीय थल सेना की आर्मर्ड रेजिमेंट के सिंध हॉर्स से संबंधित है।
Delhi, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is meeting President of Spain, Pedro Sanchez. We have seen all these leaders coming in New Delhi for the India AI Impact Summit. Pedro Sanchez has served as Prime Minister of Spain since 2018. He has also been Secretary General of the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party. And of course, so all these leaders are converging in the national capital to attend the India AI Impact Summit, the very impactful days now. On Thursday and Friday, Emmanuel Macron is also here, the French president. He's had a series of bilateral engagements with the Indian delegation in Mumbai yesterday. And earlier we saw Google CEO Sundar Pichai also touching down in New Delhi and meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So India and Spain celebrate 70 years of diplomatic relations this year. These strong ties are built on democratic values and mutual trust. The partnership increasingly strategic, featuring major defense collaborations. Hello and welcome. You're watching the special presentation on DD India on India AI Impact Summit 2026, Shaping AI for Humanity, Shaping AI for Global Good. Well, the world's largest artificial intelligence AI summit is seeing packed halls from Monday as tech moguls, industry leaders, policymakers, founders and technologists have thronged Bharat Mandapam in great numbers. Elsewhere in Mumbai, French President Emmanuel Macron on Tuesday praised India's global tech footprint by highlighting the number of Indian origin leaders heading top software and technology companies all over the world. So over the next hour, we'll bring you all the action from the India Impact Summit. Let's begin. So on day 3 of the India AI Impact Summit 2026, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold a high-stakes leaders meet and greet, during which he will meet heads of state, including those from Spain, like we just showed you, Finland, Serbia, Croatia, Estonia, Bhutan and Kazakhstan. The aim is to strengthen bilateral ties, discuss ethical AI governance and foster technological collaboration. The AI Summit witnesses a gathering of 20 heads of state, global tech CEOs and policymakers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in an interview with a news agency on Tuesday, shared his thoughts on the transformative potential of AI, the role India can play in the AI revolution. He outlined India's roadmap for an AI-powered future. He said that technology exists to serve humanity, not to replace it. AI must accelerate global development while remaining deeply human-centric. He also said that we are not just nurturing talent, but we are building the infrastructure, policy ecosystem and skills based required for India to move from participating in the AI revolution to shaping it. India should be among the top 3 AI superpowers globally, not just in consumption of AI, but also in creation. India's AI models will be developed worldwide, will be deployed worldwide, serving billions in their native language. Indian startups will be valued in hundreds of billions, creating millions of high-quality jobs. Self-reliance in AI means India writing its own code for the digital century. So at a time when the world is worried about AI deepening divides, India is using AI to dissolve divides. India has the talent and the entrepreneurial energy to become an AI powerhouse, not just as a consumer, but as a creator. India remains committed to strengthening every effort by its talented youth to make AI a force multiplier for both innovation and inclusion. The world must work towards common principles and standards in AI. So the Prime Minister went on to say that work does not disappear because of technology. Its nature changes and new types of jobs are created. History teaches us that whenever innovation happens, new opportunities emerge. The same will be true in the AI age. And the Prime Minister said that his vision for AI in a self-reliant India rests on 3 pillars. These 3 pillars, he said, are sovereignty, inclusivity and innovation. Elsewhere in Mumbai, French President Emmanuel Macron on Tuesday praised India's global tech footprint by highlighting the number of Indian origin leaders heading top software and technology companies. He specifically mentioned that firms like Microsoft, Alphabet, Adobe all having Indian origin CEOs, and he used this as evidence that India leads, not follows, in global innovation.
India does not just participate to global innovation. India leads it, from Silicon Valley to the Champs-Élysées and from technology to culture. And that, dear Narendra, dear Prime Minister, is what this year of innovation celebrates. Not a promise, but a reality. I started with the names of those who led and lead global innovation today. Many of them were born here in India. The question is no longer whether India innovates. The question is, who will innovate with India? And France is the unique clear answer. We are here, we want to be here with you, and we are not leaving. Jai-ho, as we say in a famous movie.
So Macron made these remarks during his visit to India for the India-France Innovation Forum and strategic discussions in Mumbai. He emphasized that India is not merely participating in global innovation, but actively shaping it, pointing to the success of Indian origin executives as a symbol of India's leadership in technology and innovation worldwide. And in New Delhi, just a short while ago, Minister for Electronics and Information Technology Ashwini Vaishnav attended the opening ceremony of the Research Symposium at Bharat Mandapam. Addressing the gathering, he expressed optimism about India's future, while also asserting that AI must be safe and solve real-world challenges. The minister expressed happiness over the strong participation and optimism shown by the young people at the AI Expo.
In India are very focused on AI in the edge, AI for use cases, AI for solving real world problems, AI for improving the productivity in the enterprises, AI for population scale problems like healthcare, like agriculture, like climate change. These are the things that we are focused here in India. And this AI Summit brings that opportunity.
All right, and let me now bring in DD India correspondent Amritpal Singh. But before I go to Amrit, let me also introduce my panel of guests here in the studio. We have with us Associate Professor Kavya Dashura from Yardi School of Artificial Intelligence, IIT Delhi. And we also have Surbhi Devra, founder Guidex AI, serial edtech entrepreneur. Welcome, ladies, to the show. Let me bring in Amritpal first. Amritpal, on the third day of the AI Impact Summit 2026, a research symposium is going on, of course, in which President of Estonia, Alar Karis, is also expected. Fill us in on the action going on in Bharat Mandapam.
That's right, Tanvi. The day 3 at the India AI Impact Summit kicked off with this research symposium where of course, the Minister for Electronics and IT was there, but Demis Hassabis was there. The President of Estonia is expected to be there. This symposium essentially looks at how research can be married to the real world, to find out solutions for real world, finding solutions for population scale activities like, say, healthcare, or uses in agriculture, uses in climate change, uses in deliverables of governance, uses in enhancing productivity of enterprises. Finding real world, the research, finding solutions to real world problems of people, everyday problems of people. Fintech has been an important part of it, but today when Hatsabis was speaking, he said today what the AI lacks is artificial general intelligence, which is still 5 to 8 years he says it is on the horizon, but only then will AI be transformative, really transformative. But he then again cautioned against the misuses of AI by bad actors, by changing geopolitical situations, by the inequalities that exist in the world. But overall, the general consensus at this research symposium was that huge data sets will lead to better, solutions for human problems. Of course, there is a working group on deliverables today on day 3. Then, of course, there is the expo going on where various companies are showcasing their products. There is a huge footfall, though today the entry is a little restricted because of a lot of foreign dignitaries coming and participating. Unlike the past 2 days, but the AI Summit overall is intensively looking at these areas. Tanvi?
Getting us up to speed on the activities on day 3. Let me now go over to my esteemed guest, Associate Professor Kavya Dashura, Yardi School of Artificial Intelligence, IIT Delhi. Professor Kavya works at the intersection of nanotechnology, food systems and sustainability. Surbhi Devra, founder Guidex AI, is a serial edtech entrepreneur. Guidex is an AI firm that helps companies hire faster and smarter using AI. So ladies, first let me first ask you, how has your experience at the India AI Impact Summit been over the last 2 days?
It was
Yes.
phenomenal. It was phenomenal. I was there on day one, and I was participating in a panel discussion about how AI is acting in agriculture and what is not working. We were actually trying to identify how to take it to last mile. The thing which really impressed when I went there was our idea about AI. You know, it was about Sarvajan Sukhai Sarvajan Hitai. We didn't mean anything for pure profit. We wanted to take it for the benefit of humanity and for the social good. And the youth really found so much there. The stalls, the panels, the pillars, everything was so much futuristic. And people found that India is a place to be.
Okay, India is a place to be. Surbi, you were telling me earlier that you've attended such global AI summits in the US in the past. Tell us how is this India AI Impact Summit different? Is it bigger in scale?
Oh, thank you for saying this question. This is bigger, this is better, this is larger, this is really something, and this talks about the scale. And hats off and congratulations to the entire India AI Impact Summit team. I don't think so at this scale something could have been imagined, you know. The kind of participation we have seen from the companies, if you have not been there, look at the expos, you know. The huge stalls, huge innovations, both from MNCs, international companies and Indian innovations. They're amazing, beautiful. The startups, and we are also there at a startup pod, the startups, the innovations and the enthusiasm is infectious. I would call it, you know, the enthusiasm is infectious. I don't think so even the organizers of AI India Impact Summit actually thought that they would get this overwhelming response. But I'm seeing all strata of individuals, not just organization, not just policymakers or educators, but I'm seeing school students, college students, companies, educators, everybody's flocking to understand what is this. And mark my word, if 90s got us to IT revolution, 2000 is going to get us to AI revolution, which will be bigger than IT revolution.
All right. Let me also bring in the fact that the stall sizes that are dedicated to, say, an average startup are at par with those given to big tech giants. A word there?
Well, size definitely does not really matter a lot as the innovation, but I have actually seen the way even the stalls are designed, right? I would say go visit Google's stall. Look at the innovations they're doing in education, agriculture, healthcare. Look at Tata's stall. There's a weaver, you know, there's an artificial robot weaver
yes.
who's doing sari weaving.
Yes.
Go visit these. There's OpenAI, there's Meta. You name an organization in the world, NVIDIA, and all the startups
Wipro,
they're supporting.
HCL, all the tech
Wipro,
giants.
HCL,
Yes, they're doing very
both.
good.
And beautiful thing is that you don't see a difference in Indian giant or, you know, somebody coming from Silicon Valley. All of them are at par, you know. All of them seem to be doing a lot of cutting edge and startups. Beautiful work done at AI. Lot of ideas. If anybody is looking to actually think of creating a career, going forward to create an organization or idea, I think we are into last 3 days into AI Expo,
and they are
and already it's overflocking. Gates are jammed. People have not registered. Still, they want to get inside, and they have to blame to organizers that they are not letting us in. Guys, please go register. Go through the protocols, right?
Yes.
So yes, that's fantastic. That's a good problem to have.
Okay. Ma'am, you were telling us, Professor Kavya, about how there are different verticals being addressed in this India AI Impact Summit. We are talking about health, education, IT, defense, and so on and so forth. Yes. So, of course, every AI is actually everywhere, and it's going to change, revolutionize the way we work. How serious are the concerns of the AI leading to mass layoffs, or do you think, like the Prime Minister said in his interview to a news agency yesterday, and he has been saying it, that, well, the nature of jobs will change, but the jobs overall will not, the job aspect is not very much serious. So your views on that?
Tanvi, you have to understand that AI is a platform technology. Things are built over AI, and what AI does is very simply, if I address that, India is a hub and hostel of big data. Our massive land size, population, they feed into big data for agriculture, for health tech, for welfare. So technologies are built over this data, analyzing it, predicting it, systematizing it. So it will, taking it in a threatful way is not a good idea. Rather than you should prepare. It is an advanced stage, like from school you go to college, from college you go to university, you do different preparation. So this is a new tech which is coming up, and now models would largely be built more precise, more accurate, more widespread, and also going to the last mile. But then we need a platform technology for that. So AI is that technology. Prime Minister had said one thing, and that actually stayed with me. He said that the best antidote to fear is preparation. So this is the time to prepare, and India AI Summit is giving you that opportunity. Just go and get that hands-on feel, how medical technology is being changed. We had MRIs, we had X-rays, but now we also have a brain which is helping you to analyze millions and billions of data in a snap of a second. What better you could ask for? Rather than making a guesstimate of any disease, whether it is plant disease or human disease, now you have very concrete and very substantial outcome, or a very substantial recommendation. So this is a platform technology which alone will not work on coding. There are several aspects to it, and any aspect you pick up, you just keep on doing your work good and keep on feeding the data into big data. Our bigger systems will get strengthened. It is not going to take away jobs. It is going to offer route to better and new opportunities. This is what I feel.
Okay. Surbhi is working with, she's the founder of Guidex AI. Let me ask her about Guidex. How does your platform, scans through millions of job applications?
So this is exactly the question you asked, getting the job. So we are saying, hey, AI will not take your job. AI will get you a job. So can you use AI for your advantage? So Guidex.ai helps you make a one-click resume, right, with a voice in any language. You say that, hey, I'm this and this, and it will create your resume, and it will bring out all the available jobs which is related to your resume in less than few seconds. So it's a very cumbersome process to go about looking out for jobs, right? I mean, we don't spend on a daily basis, so it will save number of hours, and it will just give you all the right jobs you are meant to get there, and it will apply jobs for you. It will follow up for jobs for you, and it will help you prepare for that job. There is a AI who will be sitting with you like an HR specialist, who will ask you questions and will give you a real-time feedback. Oh, you have not replied this right. And if you reply like this, you will possibly, the recruiters will not get it, and give you question by question feedback. And entire AI career coaching. So let's say if I make a career in big data, what is going to be my career path? So think about today, food is on demand. Today, entertainment is on demand. We are bringing you jobs and careers on demand. You want to get up at night 2 a.m. and want to prepare or look for your job or want to look at your careers, you can do it on demand. That is Guidex.ai.
So you're using AI to help both the employers and
this is universities, students and employers too.
Okay,
right.
I request you to stay with me as I bring in another important element of news. Bharat Vistar was launched today, I beg your pardon, launched yesterday. So Bharat Vistar, which was launched in Rajasthan on Tuesday, is the Indian government's farmer-centric, AI-powered digital public infrastructure which will deliver reliable information to farmers by connecting various government and scientific sources. What is it all about? Take a look in our next report.
India's Minister for Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare and Rural Development, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, launched the new digital companion Bharat Vistar in Jaipur, Rajasthan for farmers across the country.
प्रधानमंत्री श्रीमान नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में किसान कल्याण का महायज्ञ चल रहा है। हमारा लक्ष्य है उत्पादन बढ़ाना। उसके लिए नई नई किस्में आईसीआर फसलों की तैयार कर रहा है। उत्पादन की लागत घटाना, मैकेनाइजेशन और तकनीकी का इस्तेमाल करके कम लागत में उत्पादन कैसे हो ताकि प्रॉफिट बढ़े।
Bharat Vistar has been designed as a farmer-centric AI-powered digital public infrastructure specifically prepared for the agriculture sector. Bharat Vistar will operate on a plug-and-play model so that various government, scientific, and market-related systems can be easily connected. This platform is based on verified and secure information, provides multimodal and multilingual access, and offers a framework that various state governments can also adopt at their level to create large-scale impact. Bharat Vistar will be available 24 hours, acting as a digital agriculture expert. through Bharat Vistar chat box, text-based conversation, and through the speaking AI assistant Bharati inside Bharat Vistar. Farmers can reach Bharati through the mobile app available on Google Play Store, through web interface link available on the Ministry of Agriculture website, and popular mobile apps like PM Kisan and PM FBY, and by calling 155261. Farmers can view information on 10 major central government schemes. These schemes are PM Kisan, PM Crop Insurance Scheme, PMFBY, Soil Health Card, SHC, Modified Interest Subvention Scheme, Submission on Agricultural Mechanization, Per Drop More Crop, PM Krishi Sinchai Yojana, PM Annadata Ai Sanrakshan Abhiyan, Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, and Kisan Credit Card. By May 2026, all central schemes will be integrated for eligibility application, benefit status, and complaint resolution. Within the next 6 months, it will be available in a total of 11 languages. Bureau Report, DD India.
So, Bharat Vistar integrates AgriStack and ICAR advisories into one AI-driven platform. Let me take this question to Professor Kavya, who has developed India's first ever plant-based egg made from pulses. So, she has a fair bit of experience in agriculture. So, ma'am, how significant is this convergence for India's agricultural ecosystem with AI?
India's agriculture, and for that matter any agriculture, is a multimodal system. But conventionally we had always been looking at a single idea, or let us say soil or the pest or the disease or the storage, and then the recommendations were never complete, resulting into the loss to the farmer or eventual loss to the food grains. But with Vistar, starting from satellite to the soil, every data is integrated, and with ICR backing it, the expertise advice is also there. So now what farmers get is, we have just seen it as 24/7, and that too in a Bharati chatbot. You know, the chatbot which is continuously there, and when we have Bhashini there, which is going to the last mile, speaking the farmer's language and dialect, it becomes a consistent friend or an assistant to the farmer, speaking, talking to him in his own language, collecting the multimodal data from satellite to soil, backed by the scientist of ICR, and now giving him a very consistent, very precise and very hyper localized advice. This is, I'm very sure this is going to save a lot of crop losses, build a lot of confidence in the farmer, and continuously feed in to get better models, which would be just at the press of a button, the farmer would be in loop of the digital technologies.
Okay. Yes, the system will rely heavily on farmer data and of course advisories which are in line with ICAR advisories. Well, but you know, a lot of it will depend on even the small and the marginal farmer having access to digital literacy. Do you see it as a challenge for taking AI models to pan-India level?
India is still coming up there, and India has vast population, length and breadth is huge, like no other country in the world. So we won't say that yes, we are right there and everywhere and all over. We are still building up, but anyways you would say AI will work in layers. It will not be consistent for all the stakeholders. So if there is a scientist who he will be having access to, or he will be feeding into different layers of fine-tuning the models. Similarly, if you have the last mile responder or the first responder, they would be having a different level of a platform to work on. So AI is going to be layered, and the layer which deals with farmer would largely be based on smartphones, which they are anyways doing, but in a staggered way. So if they do not have an access to the digital technology, we have one step up, that is the first responders who are properly equipped. So this makes them accessible, and sometimes we underestimate the rural population or the farmers. Their youth are very excited about AI. I go into the field, I work with them, they are really waiting for it. Most of them, the moment you say AI, they say ChatGPT. So that level of awareness is there, and what has to be done with it, getting right pictures, getting right soil data. I think the training is there, they are still, the hand holding is being there, and it would be much earlier than what we are anticipating. They would be the part of our team.
Okay, so given that this summit, India AI Impact Summit, is positioning India as a key player in even shaping global AI norms, because we are talking about responsibility here, we're talking about impact. So what concrete steps do you think that India should take to shape international AI governance frameworks?
So I think a lot of steps are already being taken. If you see that even during in the budget, the data centers taxations has been removed till 48, 49. So a lot of these layerings which are needed, like talent layering, application layering, data center layering, GPU, semiconductor layering, I think government is strategically looking at all the layers. I think this is one revolution I clearly see India does not want to miss it. They are more over prepared. We might have missed on some learning models in the beginning, right? But I think we are getting back there. I think all of you should be looking at Sarvam AI, which is the India Indic models out there. All of it's there. So these are the kind of, and an event like this is taking AI to the rural level. As ma'am said, farmers also identify ChatGPT. That's amazing. So currently, this buzz should not stop. This vision should not stop. People should not heed to any negative information. People should not heed to any negative publicity. What 75 years of independence has gotten us here? Everybody understands AI will get us in less than 5 years, right? So none of it should stop whatever is happening. Maybe the speed of it needs to increase even more, Whatever we have plans, the speed needs to just increase. We have global consumer base. We are third largest economy, and we are also third largest AI intelligence. We have right talent pool. Just give them capital, give them motivation, and we are just bound to go ahead.
Okay, you're summing up thoughts, ma'am, on India AI Impact Summit and the growing enthusiasm about it.
I am so happy to see Indian youth. We take technology like it's at the back of our palm. We are so experimental with technology, and you actually see it when you go to India AI Summit. Youth just want to know more and more about it, whether it relates to their subject or not. They just want to have a feel and
okay. Request you, ma'am, to hold your thought as we are bringing in more visuals, bilaterals going on with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So Finland's Prime Minister Petteri Orpo has met Prime Minister Modi on the sidelines of the India AI Impact Summit. India and Finland share a diverse bilateral partnership with a focus on strong digital sustainability and education sectors. So a series of bilaterals taking place with Prime Minister Narendra Modi here. Antti Petteri Orpo, Finnish Prime Minister since 2023, meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Several tech leaders are already in the capital. Sundar Pichai, Google CEO, met earlier the Prime Minister. Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO, is also expected later today. Spanish President also held talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Pedro Sanchez. So more than 20 heads of states are expected to be attending the India AI Impact Summit. We have French President Emmanuel Macron already in India. He spent a very hectic, power-packed day in Mumbai. And so like I was telling you, Spanish President Pedro Sanchez held talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The visit of President Pedro Sanchez will add further impetus to the ongoing celebrations of India-Spain dual year of culture, tourism and AI. Google CEO Sundar Pichai earlier met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi on Wednesday. Pichai is in the national capital attending the India AI Impact Summit. In October last year, Google announced an investment of $15 billion over the course of 5 years to set up an artificial intelligence data center in India's Andhra Pradesh. And in this series, Prime Minister Narendra Modi appreciated Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić, who has described the ongoing AI Impact Summit in New Delhi as more than a conference. Prime Minister Modi pointed out that Vučić, in a newspaper article, elaborated how the summit places India firmly at the center of the global discourse on artificial intelligence. In the signed article, the Serbian president, who is in New Delhi to attend the summit, said that the objective of the event is to understand how AI can be deployed responsibly, inclusively and at scale to tackle real-world challenges. He also highlighted that how being the world's largest republics, one of the world's largest republics, encompassing myriad languages, religions, cultures, traditions, India exemplifies a living, dynamic pluralism. So yes, India is at the cusp of building and in fact shaping the AI revolution. Let me thank Surbi Devra, EdTech entrepreneur, Professor Kavya Dashodara from IIT Delhi. Thank you very much for being with us and sharing your valuable insights on this AI revolution in which India is actively taking part. And let me now take our viewers to the India AI Impact Summit again, where visitors are exploring the future of the METI Pavilion, that's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, from cutting-edge innovations to transformative AI solutions. The pavilion showcases how India is shaping the next wave of digital growth. Besides, a strong youth participation is being witnessed, with around $200 billion planned in investments from infrastructure and global partners.
Investors or infra players close to $200 billion का इन्वेस्टमेंट की प्लानिंग कर चुके हैं, जो कि आने वाले 1 से 2 वर्षों में मटेरियलाइज हो जाएगा। साथ ही साथ VC भी बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में भारत के स्टार्टअप्स में और विशेषकर जो एप्लीकेशंस क्रिएट कर रहे हैं उनके साथ जुड़ के भारत में डीप टेक में इन्वेस्टमेंट लाने के लिए पूरी तरह से उत्साहित है।
So AI is a transformative, once-in-a-lifetime technology often compared to the advent of the internet in scale that promises to revolutionize productivity and human capability. The real question now is, when will we draft an artificial intelligence bill of rights? Well, the Impact Summit is going to deliberate on just that. That's it in this special broadcast. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.
One of India's newest states, one of India's oldest lands. Jharkhand is a hidden Welcome to Jharkhand, the land of forests.
Always welcoming. The vibe of Punjab is larger than life.
On defense dynamics, is Europe witnessing a nuclear shift? From Paris to Berlin, France and Germany talk on shared deterrence, what it means for NATO's strategic future. India's rupees 3.6 lakh crore defense modernization push is the biggest capability leap in decades. We explain why the DAC's green signal for force multipliers like Rafale fighters and P-8I deal could redefine air superiority and maritime dominance. And a worrying surge in cyber espionage targeting defense sector workers, who's behind it and why now? Plus in my take, why India's new defense procurement policy isn't just a reform, it's a strategic reset. For all this and much more, tune in this Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Prepare your heart for a roller coaster ride called Madhya Pradesh.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. On the third day of India AI Impact Summit, high-stakes leaders meet and greet event takes place. Prime Minister Modi holds bilateral talks with Spanish President Pedro Sanchez. President of India Draupadi Murmu witnesses the International Fleet Review organized by the Indian Navy in Andhra Pradesh's Visakhapatnam. Iran and the US agree to guiding principles for nuclear deal in Geneva, the next round of talks to be scheduled. And Ukraine-Russia hold peace talks in Geneva as Trump puts pressure on Kiev to act fast and reach a deal to end the 4-year-old conflict. Zelensky calls it unfair. And let's go live across to Visakhapatnam again, where President of India Draupadi Murmu is participating in the International Fleet Review 2026, where world navies are sailing together in a powerful display of unity.
तैयार की है। भारत अब दुनिया के उन 6 देशों में शामिल है जिनके पास एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर और न्यूक्लियर पनडुब्बी दोनों का निर्माण करने की क्षमता है। आईएनएस विक्रांत महज एक युद्धपोत ही नहीं, यह भारत के आत्मविश्वास, कौशल और संप्रभुता का एक बुलंद उद्घोष है।
Every effort is focused towards indigenization across all domains. The Indian Navy's Atmanirbhar Indian Naval Aviation Roadmap, released during Aero India 2025, captures this spirit of a self-reliant Indian naval aviation by 2047.
Going beyond naval platforms, today we are pursuing Atmanirbharta in several critical technologies and niche capabilities like marine propulsion and power generation, artificial intelligence and autonomous platforms and quantum positioning systems.
युद्धपोतों से आगे बढ़कर आज हम कई महत्वपूर्ण तकनीकों और विशेष योग्यताओं में आत्मनिर्भरता की दिशा में प्रयास कर रहे हैं, जैसे मरीन प्रोपल्शन और पावर जनरेशन, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और ऑटोनोमस प्लेटफॉर्म्स तथा क्वांटम पोजीशनिंग सिस्टम।
If the seas are becoming India's growth engine, technology is undoubtedly its steering mechanism. In this context, the Indian Navy is not just an enabler, but an active contributor to India's national technological capacity.
यदि समुद्र भारत की विकास के इंजन बन रहे हैं तो टेक्नोलॉजी इसका संचालन तंत्र बनती जा रही है। इस संदर्भ में भारतीय नौसेना सिर्फ एक सहायक शक्ति नहीं है, बल्कि भारत की राष्ट्रीय तकनीकी क्षमता में सक्रिय योगदानकर्ता भी है।
And now, after having seen warships and aircraft, let us look underwater into the enigmatic world of the sentinels of the deep, the Indian naval submarine arm. They are shrouded by a strange sense of mystery, thanks to their invisibility. Soon, we shall witness a mobile column by these masters of the underwater world.
The first submarine in the mobile column today is Indian naval submarine Shankul, a Shishumar-class diesel-electric attack submarine. Designed for stealth, endurance and precision, INS Shankul operates as a frontline SSK. She is commanded by Commander Praveen Kumar Akela.
यह पनडुब्बी पोत-रोधी युद्ध, पनडुब्बी रोधी अभियान और खुफिया जानकारी एकत्र करने सहित विविध प्रकार के अभियानों को अंजाम देने में सक्षम है। आईएनएस शंकुल का आदर्श वाक्य है वयम अद्यम वयम निर्भय, अर्थात हम अजय हैं, हम निर्भय हैं।
With humble beginnings in 1967, through the induction of Foxtrot-class submarines, the Indian submarine arm gradually moved on to the Sindhu Ghosh, Shishumar and Kalvari-class submarines, while also building strategic assets. If warship building could be termed as a complex activity, the degree of complexity only rises manifold when it comes to submarine construction, for it demands the highest standards of quality in workmanship.
The next submarine that you see is Indian naval submarine Sindhu Kirti, commanded by Commander Ajit Jacob, a Kilo-class submarine of the Indian Navy. She represents stealth, endurance, and lethal precision. Silent in presence, powerful in action, INS Sindhu Kirti remains a steadfast protector of the nation's seas.
सिंधु कीर्ति का क्रेस्ट किलर वेल से प्रेरित है, जो इसके साइलेंट किलर होने की विशेषता को दर्शाता है। अपने नाम को सार्थक करते हुए सिंधु कीर्ति के आदर्श वाक्य हैं बलम शौर्य कीर्ति। देवियों और सज्जनों, फॉक्सट्रॉट श्रेणी की पनडुब्बियों के प्रारंभ से भारतीय पनडुब्बी शाखा ने धीरे धीरे सिंधु घोष, शिशुमार और कलवेरी श्रेणी की पनडुब्बियों तक अपनी यात्रा तय की। यदि युद्धपोत निर्माण को एक जटिल प्रक्रिया माना जाए, तो पनडुब्बी निर्माण की जटिलता कई गुना अधिक होती है, क्योंकि इसमें कारीगरी और गुणवत्ता के सर्वोच्च मानकों की आवश्यकता होती है।
Approaching us is the third submarine of the column and the last vessel to be reviewed by the Honorable President of India today. Indian Naval Submarine Sindhu Kesari. She is commanded by Commander Jijo Mohan. Her name means the Lion of the Ocean, a fitting tribute to her predatory gaze and silent dominance beneath the waves.
सिंधु केसरी की एक प्रमुख विशेषता है टॉर्पीडो ट्यूब्स के माध्यम से जल के भीतर रहते हुए सतह पर मार करने वाली मिसाइलों को दागने की।
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the historic International Fleet Review 2026. A memorable day indeed.
देवियों और सज्जनों, अब समय आ गया है इस ऐतिहासिक इंटरनेशनल फ्लीट रिव्यू 2026 से विदा लेने का। आज का दिन हमारे इतिहास के पन्नों में हमेशा के लिए दर्ज हो गया है। वाकई एक बेहद यादगार दिन।
On this historic occasion, Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi, Param Vishisht Seva Medal, Ati Vishisht Seva Medal, Nausena Medal, will now felicitate Srimati Draupadi Murmu, the Honorable President of India.
इस ऐतिहासिक अवसर पर एडमिरल दिनेश के त्रिपाठी परम विशिष्ट सेवा मेडल, अति विशिष्ट सेवा मेडल, नौसेना मेडल, नौसेना प्रमुख अब भारत की माननीय राष्ट्रपति श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू को स्मृति चिन्ह भेंट करेंगे।
In a short while, Srimati Draupadi Murmu, the Honorable President of India, will address the ships and the guests participating in the Fleet Review.
कुछ ही क्षणों में भारत की माननीय राष्ट्रपति श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू फ्लीट रिव्यू में भाग ले रहे जहाजों और अतिथियों को संबोधित करेंगी।
Governor of Andhra Pradesh, Sri Justice S. Abdul Nazir ji, Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Sri N. Chandrababu Naidu ji, Union Minister Sri Ram Mohan Naidu ji, Deputy Chief Minister Sri Ponidala Pawan Kalyan ji, Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Dinesh
and the Honorable President of India, the Supreme Commander of Indian Armed Forces, is addressing the officers and other ranks of INS Sumedha and
officers and sailors of the Indian Navy and friendly foreign navies. Ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar. I feel very happy after witnessing the impressive fleet of warships and the display by naval personnel from India and friendly navies. I express my compliments to each one of you for the professionalism demonstrated by you at this International Fleet Review. International Fleet Review reflects unity, trust and respect among nations for maritime traditions. Ships with different flags and sailors from different countries exhibit the spirit of togetherness. The spirit of togetherness is well captured in the theme of this review, United Through Oceans. It is a positive message to the global community that the commitment and result of this collective naval strength can overcome all challenges. India's relationship with the seas has been deep and enduring. For centuries, these oceans have been pathways of commerce, connection, and cultural exchange for India. people enthusiastically celebrate the festival Bali Jatra on voyage of Bali on the banks of Mahanadi in Cuttack during the week starting on Kartik Purnima. This festival is an expression of respect to the ancient sailors from what is now Odisha. It celebrates the tradition of regular sea travel to Southeast Asia for various purposes since the ancient Kalinga Empire. These travels contributed to the spread and exchange of trade and goods, ideas and values, shaping a shared cultural consciousness across region. Visakhapatnam has a glorious maritime past. Today's event underlines the enduring naval significance of Visakhapatnam. This fleet review also takes forward India's vision of Mahasagar, which stands for mutual and historic advancement of security and growth across regions. India's approach to international relations, including the maritime domain, is guided by our ethos of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or the world is one family. This approach reflects the wisdom that global security and growth, sustainability and stability are built through partnerships. This spirit of partnership is the bedrock of an enduring global order. Therefore, India believes that a sound maritime order is based on collective responsibility and cooperative action among like-minded partners. Ladies and gentlemen, the Indian Navy is vigilant in safeguarding India's maritime interest and contributing to stability across the wider maritime commons. Units of the Indian Navy deployed in the region serve as credible instrument of deterrence and defense against threats and challenges arising in the seas. The Indian Navy is often the first responder in times of humanitarian crisis and natural disasters, extending quick assistance with compassion and competence. The Indian Navy also plays a vital role in promoting goodwill and building bridges of trust, confidence, and friendship with navies around the globe. The spirit of friendship on display today through the participation of so many friendly countries highlights the truth that we are connected rather than divided by the seas. On behalf of fellow Indians, I convey warmest feelings of friendship and appreciation to the officers and sailors from friendly foreign navies. You represent the best traditions of your services and your nations. Your discipline, dedication, and competence are the foundations upon which collective maritime security is built. Your presence here has further strengthened our bonds of trust and reaffirmed our shared commitment to peace, stability, and cooperation at sea. The international convergence on display here will promote our common purpose and heritage. I am sure that all the Navy's representatives here will collectively help the oceans thrive as gateways for growth, prosperity, and overall well-being of the global community. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
So that was President Draupadi Murmu reviewing the fleet of 70 ships from India and friendly nations at the review anchorage area of Visakhapatnam. The event showcased India's maritime strength and cooperation while also reaffirming sovereign oversight. Indian submarines INS Shankul, INS Sindhukirti and INS Sindhu Kesari, part of Indian Navy's submarine fleet, participated in this International Fleet Review 2026. India has previously hosted such international fleet reviews in 2001 in Mumbai and in 2016 at Visakhapatnam. So this 2026 edition, themed United Through Oceans, returned to Visakhapatnam after a decade at a markedly different moment in India's naval journey. So dressed in ceremonial finery and full regalia, the ships manned by smartly turned out sailors and officers saluted the president. This was followed by the naval ships steaming past the presidential yacht. It was an awe-inspiring insight that we brought you live from Visakhapatnam on DD India. Next, updates from India AI Impact Summit 2026 underway at Bharat Mandapam here in the national capital. Today, on day 3, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold the high-stakes leaders meet and greet, during which he will meet heads of state, including those from Spain, Finland, Serbia, Croatia, Estonia, Bhutan and Kazakhstan. The aim is to strengthen bilateral ties, discuss ethical AI governance and foster technological collaboration. The AI summit witnesses a gathering of 20 heads of state, global tech CEOs and policy makers. Meanwhile, heads of state who have arrived for the India AI Impact Summit in New Delhi are holding bilateral talks with Prime Minister Modi at Hyderabad House. Spanish President Pedro Sanchez held talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Both leaders discussed a wide range of issues aimed at deepening India-Spain partnership, including trade, economy, digital innovation, health, climate action and education, among others. Prime Minister Modi conveyed his appreciation for Spain's consistent support for strong India-EU relations. The visit of President Pedro Sanchez adds further impetus to the ongoing celebrations of India-Spain dual year of culture, tourism and AI. Finland's Prime Minister Petteri Orpo also met Prime Minister Modi on the sidelines of the India AI Impact Summit. They discussed cooperation in sustainability, digitalization, AI research, ethical innovation, and how Indian talent can strengthen bilateral collaboration. Prime Minister commended Finland's efforts as an emerging innovation player in AI. The two leaders reaffirmed their commitment to advancing responsible, talent-driven AI and harnessing tech-enabled solutions for a sustainable future. So global tech leaders are also converging in New Delhi. Google CEO Sundar Pichai is also in the national capital to attend the India AI Impact Summit 2026. He met Prime Minister Narendra Modi this morning. In October last year, Google had announced an investment of $15 billion over the 5 years to set up an artificial intelligence data center in India's Andhra Pradesh. And Sundar Pichai will head to Bharat Mandapam and he's expected to address various sessions there. And of course, in this series, we are also going to see later today Open AI CEO Sam Altman also joining Sundar Pichai. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And for those on the go, you can always download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on your fingertips. So we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.